Hi there, everyone. I hope the weekend treated you well and you were all well rested and you're recovered and ready for the week. Hopefully, this will help you get ready for the week as well. All right, so we're doing a little bit of a different reading today. I've decided to do a reading with runes and speak a little bit about them. The runes are what the Norse used to use for divination. So they're seers, or their vulva, or whatever you'd like to call them, they used to use runes to predict the future, to give advice to whoever came for counsel to them. And these are very different in the normal types of divination that we use today, in that they have very, very deep meanings and they have energies. Similar to the tarot, where each card represents a type of energy or an archetype in a particular part of our lives, these were energies based on things like water and a horse and what the representation was there, but it goes so much deeper than that. You know, the nature of the ice, the nature of the animals that were around them. It went really deep, similar in terms of like very deep spiritually, similar to the Native American kinds of beliefs, but they were really deeply ingrained in the environment that they were living in, the animals that they encountered, the essence of every single part of the earth, not just the earth as one element, but the ice, the snow, the soil, the leaves from certain trees. You know, they really immersed themselves in connecting to each and everything on a very deep level. And every rune has a very deep meaning and has a connection to us and our beings and our connection to the world. And it has so many millions of different facets to it that it's an art to be able to read runes. Okay, and I don't profess to be very good at that art, or to be an expert at that art rather, but the runes are something that you would study your whole life and you'll work with your whole life. And every time you pick up a rune or you pull a rune for yourself, it opens up different parts of your life, different parts of your imagination, different parts of your consciousness, and it brings us to certain realizations about things and can potentially even change the energies around us. All right, so they are very similar in to other pantheons in terms of the archetypes of the different energies. Like if you look at Odin, you can attribute him to being the god, um, and any other god can be kind of likened to that. And then he has a son that is living amongst the humans, like Tur. We call him Thor. That Tur is the correct pronunciation. And then you always have like the devil kind of energy, so you'd have Loki there, always to be the trickster or the devil's advocate in the situation. You have the angel kind of energies, which are the Valkyries. Valkyries used to go into the fields after a battle to resurrect the souls of those who are really worthy and died a good death. Okay, those who fought with honor and valor, and they would come and resurrect them, so to speak, and let them go up into the halls of Valhalla, which is their version of heaven, while they wait for the second coming. Do you see some similarities here? Okay, Freya would be the goddess, the mother goddess, where she would be the nurturing mother figure. She was capable of many different things. She celebrated her sexuality or her feminine side. She was also very good at magic. She protected mothers and children. So there we have the same kind of mother figure that comes up. So they have all of these archetypes, which is very interesting because every country in the world, before they even had contact with each other, had very, very similar stories. All right. But when it comes to the runes and the divination that the Norse used, it goes very deep. Like I said, it's not just like oracle cards or tarot cards. This is on a whole different level with a very deep journey that you go on, and it's like a lifetime journey for you to discover certain aspects of yourself, how you relate to certain things, how certain elements come in. And it's a very deep kind of form of divination that has very, very deep roots and multifaceted meanings. They're not straight down the line. So it's not like a tarot deck where you can pull a card and go to the book and say, well, these are the proposed meanings or keywords that go along with this. It has got a basic understanding of what it's supposed to be, But once you start working with them, you'll see that it goes a lot deeper. And some people even say you should, if you pull a rune for the week, for instance, you should carry that with you or write that symbol down. See where you see it in nature. See how it connects to you. Some of them look like the letters of our alphabet, or they look like a particular animal, or they will remind you of something, and it takes you on a whole very deep spiritual journey. So let's see. I'm going to be pulling some runes this week for you for the week ahead. These are runes that I've made out of stones that I picked up on the beach. I made them myself, so they're very personal to me. And a lot of people make them out of wood. A lot of the times they would be made out of elm trees. They have very specific trees that you should make it out of and which you shouldn't make it out of. Otherwise, it's good to do it from stones. You'll see a lot of rune sets that are out there that are made of different crystals. And I decided I needed something very personal for myself. So I'm going to show them to you quick. Each one is made from a beach pebble that I picked up, if it's going to help us in focus. And I did them by hand so that this is something very personal that I can use for myself. Okay. The way that I would work with these, though, is that you put them in a bowl, or you can kind of do this on a surface if you like. I usually keep it in the bag and I keep my eyes closed, and then I will ask the question that I need to ask. So I prefer to do it that way for you. As you can see, they kind of rub it against each other. But that's how I'm going to pull the runes for today. There's also a blank rune that leaves things kind of open-ended. In some belief systems, they don't use the blank rune, and you do get two different types of alphabets. When you're talking about the runes, you get the elder Fulthok and the Fulthok. So there's a bit of contention around that, and this history goes back so far that not everybody knows exactly what the truth is when it comes to those kinds of things, and there's a lot of debate, and I think they are still discovering things about the Norse pantheon and the runes and everything. So we use it to the best of our ability with what we know now, and I can personally say that these have worked for me. So it's not that it's going to work for everybody. I'm probably going to get some comments on I'm not using the right ones. For me, when you're asking for questions, if you're asking questions and you're looking for answers from spirit, you won't get the wrong answers. Something will come through no matter what you're using. If your intention is pure and you're asking for help, it'll come through to you. Okay, so I don't worry too much about that, because what works for me, and I believe that people should use what works for them. All right, so let's see. I'm just going to clear my thoughts quickly, and then we're going to be asking what guidance do we have for the week ahead. And I'm going to be pulling 3 runes so we can get some idea of what kind of energies are coming through and any advice that they have for us, please. Okay, so the first one. I like to read them together because some of them do kind of bounce off of each other. Okay, so far we have Wunjo, which is quite positive. And then we also have, sorry, let me just focus for a second. Okay, they've got our third one. This is pretty good. Okay, so we've got Wunjo, which is about joy. It can be very positive. It talks about you're about to go on a journey of enlightenment or be rewarded for something. So this is often that we've been waiting. Sorry, I didn't even realize that's not in the shot there. My apologies. Okay, this is talking about us often having to wait for something, working towards something, wanting to gain some clarity on something. It's like having a light bulb moment in certain areas of our lives. Okay, so maybe things have been really slow to get off the ground or to happen for us, or we feel like we've only come across difficulty and adversity. And this is about trusting yourself and staying focused. And this is saying some of the rewards are going to be shown to you, or you're going to at least have an epiphany, for instance, of saying, you know what, I've actually managed to achieve some of the obstacles that I've faced, and some of them I've overcome. So I've actually gone through a lot of the obstacles that I looked at a couple of months ago, maybe, and realized, hey, you know what? I've actually managed to get some of these things accomplished. They might be little things, like I've had to renew my driver's license, I've had to do my tax, and they just seemed like such daunting tasks for me at certain points. And I had to knuckle down and say, Shireen, just get a firm grip and do your stuff, you know? And if I look at it, I've got a long term goal I'm working towards, and those two things are integral parts of that long term goal. And I can look back at them. I actually thought of this morning and think, you know, don't count your losses, count your wins. You've managed to do these two things, which are actually very key things in the plans that you have for the future. So you might not be 100% there, but you definitely are making progress. So this is what this is talking about, okay? It's about enlightenment and having that joy and something coming to a place where it's actually starting to show the reward. So that's really wonderful. Okay, the second one that we have here is called Jira, and that is about plenty. It's about a very beneficial outcome. It's about prosperity, and it's saying that this is coming, all right? Whatever the outcome is of something that is a big goal for you, um, is on its way. It is not saying that we must expect, for instance, instant results. It could be 6 months away, it could be 3 months away. It could take up to a year when we see this particular rune, but it says this does take perseverance, that focus that I was talking about, and your set your intention, trust yourself, and stay on track with what you had initially wanted to work towards. Okay, so this is about development of your will. It's working towards a goal, trusting and knowing that you're going to get there. These are really positive runes, okay? I must just say, because your runes can be very, very dark. Not dark in the sense of like evil, but when something's going down that's not in your favor, or you need a warning about something or somebody that's not a good person, the runes will definitely tell you. They don't beat around the bush. And for some of them, it's just a warning. There's no positive end, or no positive indication or representation of them. They like, this is a warning, or you doing this thing. They're very straightforward as well. It's like, you need to readjust yourself because you're going on the wrong path. They'll tell you straight away. So these are really positive cards that have come up. It's definitely talking about the self as well, because you've got Isa that's come up here, and Isa is about ice. It talks about being in like a winter of our lives, okay, where we feel powerless, but that is saying you need to work on the I. It's literally an I, and it's like the I am. It's about self-discovery. What do you need to do within yourself to get these things moving? We can't just blame external circumstances or our lives, or whatever's going on, or other people around it. This is saying this is on you, and this is about you. And we have to penetrate sometimes through that ice, because we can feel like we're really battling with things, and we often kind of shirk that responsibility or want to blame somebody else. Okay, it's not a rune that can be in the reverse position, but it does kind of warn about us being egomaniacs at certain times, okay, and thinking, well, it's everyone else's fault. Why didn't they just come to the party? This is saying, don't be blind to the fact that you need to take ownership for things. Don't be blind to the fact that there is some kind of personal growth that needs to happen here, personal responsibility, maybe some emotional maturity that's lacking with certain things, okay? But it's also saying it's I can. All right, don't allow illusion to kind of make you think that everything is up to everybody else to sort out. This is saying, if you want these successes, you have to have this focus. You have to move towards this goal. You have to continue to move towards this goal. But also it's saying it's going to give you enlightenment in terms of the things that you have achieved. So look at the past, not from a negative perspective, but look at the things that you have managed to do. What can you pat yourself on the back for? If one of them is just patience with the situation, then pat yourself on the back for that. Okay, so this is really positive news in terms of, if you feel like things are too slow in happening for you, you've had a lot of obstacles, please know that you're making progress. Realize that for yourself. Realize too what you can do as an individual to move towards that goal. You've got to continue your efforts, because your efforts are going to be rewarded. Okay, you are going to see some light at the end of the tunnel. And whatever is in the forefront of your mind right now is probably going to see some kind of closure or development within the next 6 to 12 months. Okay, so I hope that was something different for you, something interesting, and I wish you a beautiful week ahead because it's really positive energy around us. I think from us coming through those two eclipses, those also carry energy for the next 6 months with the things that are changing and shifting within us and around us. So that really makes sense. And we also have coming out of the shadow of Mercury retrograde, which means communication should be easier, achieving certain things should be easier, just general movement should come a little bit more easily. And like I said, those things where it feels like we have had all of these obstacles or resistance, that should ease up a bit as well. But we can't just say, oh, it was Mercury retrograde. Oh, it's because of Corona. I mean, that ship has sailed, you know? So let's take some ownership. Let's move forward and do something, even if it's a tiny thing, you know? A lot of tiny steps collectively can bring us towards our goals and can help us achieve something monumental at the end of the day. All right. I wish you all a beautiful week and I'll chat to you again soon. Lots of love. Bye.